right, thank you. This is Keith Varian. It is 7 o'clock on Monday, June 14th, and I will call to order the meeting of the Fairfield Golf Commission. I'll start by taking attendance. Peter Seacrest, are you on?
Hi, Keith. I'm on.
Hi, Peter. All right. Liam, are you on? Nope. All right. Liam Herron is not in. Christine Hogan.
I'm here.
All right. Hi, Christine. Priscilla Schultz.
I'm on.
Great. Hello. Mike Harrington.
I'm here, sir.
All right. And Mike Feinstein.
I am here.
Great. All right. Do we have Bob Bigonette?
I'm here.
Hello. Anthony Calabrese.
Yep, I'm here.
Great. And Peter Grace. Not yet. Okay. Hopefully Peter will be calling in later. All right. I'm going to waive the Pledge of Allegiance. And before we get into the agenda, I know a couple people have been asking about in-person meetings, and I just wanted to address that quickly. As most of you all know, at this point, the town is still holding all of its meetings by phone, and until we are allowed to meet in person, we're going to continue to do it this way, the way we've been doing it now for the last couple of months. Obviously, I think all of us would prefer to get together and meet in person. But hopefully that'll be happening soon. I think that at this point the town is looking into opening these back up shortly. But as of right now, we're still by phone. So unfortunately, we have to keep going with this process for a little while longer. All right, let's act on the minutes from our last meeting on May 10th. Has everybody had a chance to read them? Any comments? Any revisions to them?
This is Mike Harrington. I commend Prue on the excellent job, and don't take this the wrong way, but on the back page, talking about the golf course being open from the first tee time at 7 a.m., it says he will open the snack bar at 6:45 p.m., and I think that should be a.m.
Oh, yes, it should be.
But please don't take that personally. You do a great job.
Oh,
I'm just
thank
anal.
you.
Great. Okay. With Mike Harrington's revision, can I get an approval of the minutes or motion to approve?
This is
Mike. I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Great. Thanks.
Mike Harrington seconds.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. Moving on to the staff reports. Bob, you're up first.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. My reports will start off to tell you that we are, as you know, by looking at the numbers, we've been doing incredibly well, and we're very busy. My staff is doing its best to keep its happy face on and power through these times, which are unprecedented in golf. Really, really cool to see so many people playing golf and having fun at Smith. Along those lines, I'd like to report that in the last month we had 4 different manufacturers there doing demo days to the public. We had Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, and Cobra. They were all well received and very successful. People are loving that kind of thing, and it will continue in the future. I'd also like to report that our PGA Junior League teams, we have 2 teams of 13 and under variety, have finally started playing matches. We had a match over at Brooklawn Country Club, and we have 6 or 7 more matches scheduled throughout June, so that's very exciting to see the teams out there in their uniforms. It looks really cool. I think it's really going well. Along those lines, we have our junior camp starting next week. We are 95% sold out for the next 8 weeks with 20 kids coming each week. So it's been very well regarded and received throughout the community. I think it's really really neat to see that many kids around, and exciting times at Smith and the Par 3. I'd like to address a little bit about 4UP. We're getting really close to being able to get 4UP up and running. I would like to admit that it's been a challenging process, coupled with being the new professional and the amount of play we're getting. But we've worked really hard on it, and we're very close. I'm just waiting on one big hurdle to finish this up, and hopefully we'll get that done shortly. I'm sure we're going to talk a little more about that. And then finally, I would really like to acknowledge the job Peter Grace is doing. The golf course is in phenomenal shape. With the amount of play we're getting and the quality of the conditions, I just have to tip my hat to him and his crew. It looks like a country club out there, and there hasn't been a day we haven't ran 250 people around that place in a long time. That's my report. I'll take any questions you may have.
Hey, Bob, can I ask you, are you getting any requests to run tournaments? Have you had any? Have you booked any?
I lost you there. I'm sorry.
I was asking about tournaments. Have you booked any tournaments?
Yes. We have 9 booked.
And what are the limits that you set? How many golfers do you allow?
Oh, no more than 144 golfers, 80 minimum to book. So, for example,
do you
our
feel
first...
like... I'm sorry, go
ahead. Our first one, we have 130... I'm getting confused. I'm sorry.
So
go ahead. Ask your question.
I'll talk first, just so I don't want to interrupt you again. So do you think, and are they all going in for dinner? Is it like a day event and they're all having dinner at Boca? Is that the kind of tournaments they are?
Oh, almost all of them, but they're all required to either have lunch or dinner. A lot of them are doing both.
Are they all on Mondays?
As of right now, only Mondays. I have some interest in some other days. Yeah, all Mondays. So all of the Septembers are gone. There's one more left in October. Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry,
I was just curious because I don't know if we've seen any information on that. And one last question. When we run those tournaments, what's your net on that? Like, how much more do you make filling a tournament with 144 golfers than you would straight tee time?
So it's a great question, and it's about a break even for a normal day. But that's why we plan on running open play opposite the shotgun. So, for example, if we have a 1 o'clock shotgun, I'm going to run some morning play before to make sure we're not losing any revenue. We really need, before we can really do that, we really need those extra 20 carts,
right?
Which are coming soon.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But your point is valid. Without play on either side of it, when I did the number, you need to have about 128 players for it to make economic sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's more to it too. It gives the restaurant business. It exposes you to more people that usually don't come to Smith. So there's
right.
advantages to it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for Bob?
Bob, I have a question regarding 4UP. You said that we're close. Where is it right now in the process?
So we're waiting. So when we went with 4UP, they promised us that they would be able to integrate with the town software called Munis. When we've dug into it pretty hard, they're having trouble integrating.
Okay.
So we need the town accountant to say, yeah, this looks good enough for me. And we have a big meeting tomorrow, hoping that we'll get that approval.
Okay, and then let's be optimistic and say you do get the approval. How long then till we can expect it to actually be up and running?
If we had everything perfectly happen, we would be ready to start booking tee times for July 1 through 4UP on June 24th.
Okay.
But that's everything's got to align. We're really hoping that it does for reporting purposes and everything, because as you know, the fiscal year ends It would make everyone's life a lot easier if we could make a smooth transition where we don't have a little bit of Vermont and a little bit of 4UP in our reporting. But
Absolutely.
Hey, Bob, this is Mike. When I saw you at the course, a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, you were mentioning this to me, and you said something like you thought when you have to make the transition and you stall 4UP, you think you might be out a whole day of play possibly while you do the transition. Is that still something that's going to happen or no?
That's been alleviated. We've figured out the transition's not going to be that bad, and we're just going to do it overnight. We should be fine in that regard.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Okay. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's a lot, but no one wants it more than me. I can promise you that.
I believe that.
Okay. Anthony, you're up.
Okay. Everybody should have received the May numbers. You'll see that as Bob said, we had a really good month, up in almost every category, which is great. Par 3, for whatever reason, that was down a little bit in rounds overall. So I was just a little concerned about that. But, we're still way over where we normally are with rounds. So, yeah, the numbers are all looking good. Bob mentioned, we need those additional 20 golf carts. The lease has been signed, and as of last week, the company said we were 1 to 2 weeks from delivery. So we're either getting delivery the end of this week or some point next week, but it will definitely be before July 1. So we should be in good shape there.
Great.
Happy to take any questions. And Prue, Peter is on, but he can't unmute himself. I don't know if you can unmute him, but happy to take any questions.
Do you know what his number is? Can you give him my number and ask him to text me? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I just don't see his caller ID, so.
I think the last 4 digits are 8877.
Okay, perfect.
Anthony,
Peter?
it's Mike. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted, Peter Grace, are you here now? Oh. I think did you
Anthony,
mute
it's
yourself?
Mike.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Hear me now? Hello?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure.
Go ahead, Mike.
It's okay. I see you put a couple of picnic fences out there on the patio, which I very much appreciate. I'm not sure, you said you had 2 new ones on order. Are they of the same style?
No. These ones are these are temporary picnic benches that we use in our parks around town. I had Public Works move those up. When I contacted the company that we ordered our benches from, everything's still back ordered. So we're a good 8 to 10 weeks out from receiving those still.
Wow, I'll be darned. Okay.
That's how everything has been with ordering during COVID.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not that surprised.
I didn't look that carefully. Are there holes in those tables so we could put some umbrellas out and provide some shade?
No, but I don't think those 2 do, but I could have Public Works take care of that, or Peter. But we can get that taken care of.
Yeah, it would be nice, because in the afternoon there is just no shade on that end of the patio. So, anyhow, thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, any other questions for Anthony? Anthony, quick question on 4UP. Are you going to be involved in the meeting tomorrow? I would assume that you're going to help coordinate that.
Well, I'm going to help coordinate it, but it'll really be between the finance gurus. We need their report to be in a certain format for Munis, and 4UP just is not cooperating, which is the issue that we're running into. The good news is Tashawa, who already made this switch, is also on Munis. So we're going to talk to Tashawa first in the finance department with Trumbull to find out what report they're getting, and then we're going to take whatever they have and we're going to go back to 4UP and say, this is what we want. We're not sure why they're not giving it to us.
That's great. Okay, good.
One other thing, I guess, for Anthony, what's the status on the starter shed?
It'll be here Monday, the 21st. That's next Monday.
Awesome.
And then the fire pit's the only other outstanding item. And I believe, and hopefully Peter could talk to that, but I believe that came in on Thursday or Friday of this past week and just needs to be installed and built.
Good.
All right. Well, Mike, we just checked off 2 other topics on our agenda, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was later, Keith. My apologies.
No, don't worry. I just as long as we have the conversation, I don't care about the order. I don't get caught up in that. That's fine. All right. Peter Grace, can you hear us now? Uh-oh.
I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Peter.
The fire pit, they called me that they're delivering it this Wednesday. They're delivering the fire pit this Wednesday. Other than that, we have 101 things to do here, and we've gotten to about 85 of them. But no, we're busy, and of course, Bob, thank you for your kind comments. The course is in great shape, and I looked at the numbers; it's just unbelievable. I mean, June's usually the longest, longest day of the year sort of stuff, and if we do 7,000 rounds, we're at 55,000 rounds for the fiscal year, which is unbelievable. I include complimentary. Some people don't, but I do because it is wear and tear on the golf course. We have a lot to do, and a lot of things coming up. We just finally got the patio bench installed on the 10th tee. I've been getting calls about that. Little things that has nothing to do with it. I mean, it does have what to do with the golf course, but we're just all out there grooming and trying to give the people the best we can give them.
Okay. No, the course looks good.
How's your equipment holding up, Peter, with the maintenance issue?
It is what it is. That's all I can say about that. I mean, could I use a lot more new equipment? I know Anthony and I have already talked about next fiscal year going into budget season, we're going to be requesting, and maybe it's going to be a big lease. Whether we buy a big lease, we need new equipment up here. I mean, like I said, the last time we got leased 4 years ago, the equipment was brand new. It was great, and now it's 4 years later, and we're coming up to the 5th year of the lease, and now we need more equipment. So it's holding up. We're getting things done. The course is in good shape, but come next budget season, we're gonna need a lot of equipment. Whether we lease it or buy it, I don't know. We're gonna look at all our options with Anthony, and we'll see where we stand.
Peter, have you used the outside mechanic much? How's that process going?
Yeah, I've used it on the loader and my sprayer. It's kind of it's well, that part of the budget hasn't even started yet. So
I know, right? That's next month. So, but I know that's happening. That's why I just was asking.
So I got a list here of about $12,000 in. It came out of the operating budget to fix things, and all I can say, it is what it is. I'm trying to do the best we can with what we got, and it's not easy, but we're getting it done. Yeah. I prefer not to have to do it this way, but and I just want to say, I keep getting this questions about the roller. We had a roller breakdown. It is still broken down, but I guess, why are the greens so slow? You're not rolling them. I said, I roll them every weekend. And it's not. That had to do with the humidity, the wetness. I mean, there's a lot of moisture in the ground, and that just slows greens down. But people are like, oh my God, the greens are so slow. The roller's broken down. People writing letters, the roller's broken down. We have the rollers. We're rolling, and it's that time of the year. You get a lot of humidity, you get a little bit of rain, got it growing, got the Poa annua, and but
I don't know, Peter. I don't think the greens are that slow. I think they're nice. I'm surprised that people are complaining about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep 3
Come to my world, Priscilla. Come to my world, Priscilla.
Well, keep me updated,
Hey.
Peter, as we're moving forward with this, and let me know if you need any help getting anything repaired.
Oh,
or
yeah,
anything
I
like
got
that.
a spreadsheet.
So
I told Anthony, I got a spreadsheet of what we're spending on overtime to fix things and sending them out and so forth. And like I said, we haven't even started that budget yet. So
Yeah, I know.
this is all.
That's why I was just. We're about to get into it, though.
So
Yes.
this is Anthony. If I could just jump back into this, I should have given this update, and it just didn't cross my mind at the time. Today, the first select woman did address, and she publicly announced to the Board of Selectmen that my department will be taking over the Parks Department. What that means is I'm going to be taking on the Superintendent of Public Works, who will now report directly to me. He's going to have a title change to Superintendent of Parks. And we're taking on the Parks General Supervisor and the 7 full-timers that work under them and all their seasonal guys. They're going to be stationed out of H. Smith Richardson, out of Peter's building up top. What this gives us the flexibility of is now when Peter needs some help on the golf course, he'll be able to pull some of the Parks guys. If we need help, across the street at the softball field with some of the stuff in the parks, we'll be able to pull Peter's guys. But it gives us the flexibility now that we've got guys who can do the mechanical work, and we have more hands up there to help. So I think it's a really good move for us, and there's no budget impact at the current time. So just wanted to let everybody make everybody aware of that.
Excellent.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony, that sounds great. My only concern is then, does it work both ways? So if you can take Peter's guys for the softball field, can you take Peter's guys for other things around the town also?
No. Well, Peter's guys are pretty specialized in what they do.
Okay.
So it's not like we're not going to take them and, have them comb in the beach.
Good. So we're not going to lose them up there. Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Good.
And Peter's still, running the golf course and all the operations up there. Nobody's stepping on any toes as far as that goes. It's more of just consolidating resources and, sharing things that way. And I think it gives me a little more oversight of, departments that I should be overseeing. So.
Right. Exactly. Good.
Great. All right. Any other questions for Peter? All right. Hearing none, let's move on to the Greens Committee.
All right. Well, I'll start. And again, Peter, the course is in great shape. I've been able to play up there, a few times, and it's been wonderful. My only question is, I've noticed that the tees, the forward tees, which look beautiful, that you've finished on 4 and obviously 6 and 9, the grass doesn't seem to be the same grass as the other tees. And I know there's some problems putting tees in the actual ground, and the grass is different. It makes teeing a little more difficult. And I was wondering, is there a different type of grass that you use for those tees?
I must admit, Priscilla, I did go the cheap route. I went with a 38 cents square foot sod instead of the $2 a square foot sod. I did go with a bent grass. I went with the native bluegrass. They are different. My thinking was you put a peg in the ground and you're sitting off a tee anyway, and we can get them down to those heights. And I think they look okay. I mean, they're not.
No, I think they look okay, but you can't actually see it. Like you can't. It won't go in the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrific. I'm hoping that but they're down, and I'm thankful that they're down. But if there's in the future, if we could get the other type of sod, on those tees, I think it would be very helpful because it is very, very difficult to put the tees in. And even when the tees in, depending on what height you use for the tees, sometimes, the grass gets in the way. So I know you have a lot to do, but if we could just make a plan in the future to get the other kind of sod on those tees, that would be great.
Yeah, we can do that. This is the first I've heard of it. I know there was difficulty. Actually, my wife, she gripes about she can't get the tee in the ground either. But
good for her.
I thought it was a soil underground, but it could indeed be the grass, and we'll take a look at it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Which is it on both of those holes, Priscilla? Which holes is it on?
It's on all three. It's on 4, 6, and 9.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the same type of grass we got on 18, 17, 15, 13. 13 might be bent grass. I can't.
No, 13 is not. Yeah, 13 is fine. Those are the three we noticed it the most, and it's been across the board. So, thank you.
Well, there was 9, 6, and 9, 6, 4.
4, 6, and 9.
Yeah. Well, those are the new tees we just built. So I mean,
all the new tees.
Maybe,
yeah.
So, maybe if we let them mature a little bit, we just threw them right into action. But we will take a look at it.
Okay. Thank you.
This is co-chair Mike. Peter, the course is in terrific shape. I think the only thing I'd like to see is a little less break on some of the greens, but I'm not sure you could fix that.
I'm the maintainer. I maintain that.
Now, good work.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. The par 3 committee. Anything to report, guys?
I played it again last week. Thought it's in great shape. I think everything looks great down there. Really, nothing caught my eye that that looked problematic at all. So I think the guys are doing a great job.
All right. We have an email about the par 3 from Lucille Parkinson about. We can talk about it now, but it was a question that I've been talking to Anthony about, just the bathroom situation there. Is that gate open now, Anthony, at the par 3?
Yes, the gate is unlocked.
Okay. So people can shoot out that gate at 4. They can also use the tennis court or the tennis building bathrooms. But we removed the Porta-John, right? So that's not there anymore.
That's correct.
Okay. Again, I think that's sufficient. We haven't heard anything more from anybody else. But I would assume that once that gate is, people know that they can sneak across over there to the ball field bathrooms, that probably satisfies it. I do think it's a little awkward not to have a bathroom at the golf course. But it doesn't seem like we're getting a lot of complaints about that. Has anybody heard anything on that issue?
No.
No, and we don't normally have a porta potty on the golf course there. That was only a COVID thing.
Oh, because it was right behind the starter shack. I thought that was there for a while.
No, it was only there due to COVID.
Okay.
The inside bathrooms were closed.
Oh, I gotcha. All right. I don't know why I thought it was always there. Okay. All right. Well, as long as now I think that gate's open, I think it satisfies Lucille's issue, and now the women who play that in that league are probably happy. And there are a lot of bathrooms around. Don't get me wrong. It's not like there aren't bathrooms around there. So, good. Okay. All right. Let's jump into, we put this under the clubhouse building update, although I think we've already talked about it. Starter shed is coming next week, you said, Anthony?
Yep, Monday
right.
the 21st it's scheduled.
All right. Additional outdoor seating, it's there. To Mike's point, we can get an umbrella. I think that would make a big difference. But we have two big picnic tables now for those who haven't seen it, and they look pretty good. So that's helpful, I think. All right. Anything on that before I move on? Okay. All right, moving to new business, the 4UP update. I think we've talked about that as well. Anything anybody else wants to follow up on that? All right, moving along. 10-year plan. So this is something that thinking about here, and actually Mike Harrington and I met with Craig Curley. I don't know when it was now, Mike. Maybe 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and really we just wanted to meet with Craig to get a better understanding of what the process was, because as you all remember, we had a 10-year plan that was in effect from 2010 to 2019, and then it coincided with the funding for the new clubhouse. And so just thought it was time to revisit it, especially now with the renewed interest in golf. The course is making a lot of money. It's doing very well. So let's put some love back into the golf course here. And so Mike and I met with Craig just to get an understanding of how he ran that process through when they got that approved back in 2010. I shouldn't have said that. It wasn't really approved, because the process that he told us was he collected, which I've already emailed to the commissioners. So again, if commissioners have any more suggestions for what we should include, let me know. But he reached out to the commission, asked for suggestions, put together a list, put together cost estimates, projected revenue, if there is anything, like if we were going to, increase or do something at the driving range. And then once the plan with the projections and the time frames and the estimates was put together, and he did a great job. It's an excellent 10-year plan. If you guys haven't read it recently, I suggest you take a look at it. It was really good. Most of that work was done, not all of it, because they didn't get all the money and some of it was moved around. But he then took that plan and he just ran it through each of the major bodies, the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and RTM, gave them a heads up that this would be what the golf course is asking for each year for the next 10 years. Asked for input, asked for advice, asked for comments, negative comments, good comments. So then there was no surprise. There would be no surprises going forward at each budget season, and it worked. And they got $100,000 a year. They asked for $1 million. They got $100,000 a year for 10 years. It wasn't always $100,000. It was moved around a little bit, but it always, at the end, it came out to $1 million. So I thought that was a really helpful process. And now Mike Harrington and I are going to start working on putting a new 10-year plan together and try to get some upgrades to the course, maybe some other areas as well. So again, for the people who I haven't heard from yet, please let me know what you think should be included. But as of right now, it's in the very early stages of it. We're just sort of conceptually working on it. I'd like to get it in front of maybe the town bodies in the fall, start getting some input from them in the fall, off budget season, so they're not, so they have no excuses. So that's the tentative plan right now. Again, like I said, it's very early. It's more in the discussion phases, but if anybody wants to be involved or help out, please let me or Mike Harrington know. So that's that. Any comments or thoughts on that before we move on?
I have a question. So, and forgive my lack of understanding of some of the processes in a government, but when we look at the earnings for the golf course and the bonding assigned to the finances, it's slated to lose money for the next, however many years. So how realistic is it to go and ask for money?
Well, some of the things that we'll be asking for will be revenue generating, and some of them are just extraordinary expenses that we think we need. And while the financing is allocated to the golf course, it's not really solely for the golf course. And the golf course is doing really, really well. It's beating projections right now. So, I think if we're going to ask for it, now is the time to do it. So,
okay,
Anthony,
I just didn't know how close the town wants to run in terms of losing money, making money on. Do they look at it as each individual entity and how it performs?
Anthony, what are your thoughts on that? Again, I don't think they do, but I'll defer.
No,
to you.
I don't think they look at it separately as its own thing. I think they look at, unfortunately, the line items of this is all the revenue they bring in. They love that line. They love talking about it. And then when we get to the expense side of the budget, they don't really like talking about that line as much.
I think the brilliant thing about what Craig did was he put together a plan, and as Keith said, outside of the busyness of budget time, and just began to educate people in the town bodies on what the golf course was all about. I've had the same experience with the marina, which operates in the black and makes quite a bit of money, but there's an awful lot of people who really don't understand what goes on down there. So what Craig was able to do was raise the visibility of the golf course across the management structure of the town. The plan had included in it some things that you would not normally get done under an annual maintenance program, such as rebuilding bunkers and putting in drainage. And so anticipating and projecting all of that and having an audience who wasn't surprised because they had heard this before or had presentations made it much more palatable when the budgets came around.
Yeah, exactly. And there are things that we need to do to maintain this asset for the town. I mean, much of what we're asking for, I think, will ultimately be things like Mike just said. Maybe it's replacing some of the cart paths. Maybe it's rebuilding the traps to the extent that they're needed. I mean, the course is in good shape, but there's always extraordinary expenses that, the course will need over time. So, Christine, I think it's a fair question, but like I said, I just don't think it's a bad idea to do it now. Otherwise, we're just going to be ad hocing requests going forward, which is in my opinion, is harder to get past.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Anything else on that? All right. I combined these next two, inclement weather and cancellation policy. They're kind of, but also not really, together. But I know Christine had asked a question about inclement weather, and I had been asking questions before about cancellation policy, particularly under the Vermont system versus FORUP. So that's why I thought maybe it would make sense to take them together. I think with the inclement weather policy, I know, Christine, you ran into it when there was a storm coming up. The policy that's in effect right now, I actually think is a pretty good one. The reality is our rain check policy is when the course is closed, and I think Bob will tell you that it's rare that we close the course. At times we'll pause golf because there's lightning, or we'll pause golf because a storm is moving through, but we don't close the course for the day. And so if it's paused, when the course opens back up, the tee times are just pushed back, and so you don't get the chance then at canceling. So you're not going to get a rain check. So I think the system works. Bob, I'll defer to you. I don't think we're giving a lot of rain checks. I think that's what you said. So I don't think there's a whole lot to do here, but I know, Christine, you wanted us to talk about it. So if there's something that you thought we should be doing, let me know.
Well, it's just that when I was there and there was a storm projected, the pro shop the staff was letting people pay for 9. And if they felt the weather was going to hold out, they could come back at the turn and pay and continue, or pay when the round was over. But in my years of going to Smith, this was never the policy. And that isn't the policy. The policy is, if you sign up for you can pay for 9, but you just can't come in and continue, right? Anthony, is that what the policy says?
I'd love to see where that policy is written. I've never seen anything of the like.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
It's really
so
only
that if I play 9 and I want to then play 18 after 9, I can come. You don't think I can come back in, or at least that's the to come back in and say, hey, you know what, I want to keep playing. That's not.
Well, how do you? So they come in, they play 9. They want to pay for 9 because they're afraid it's going to rain, and then they're going to stop, go into the pro shop, pay, which we don't have time for people to do. And then, or they're going to pay at the end. But when I came in at the end, the pro shop was closed because I didn't go out. I mean, it should have been closed because I understand we want to get along with people, but we can't work on an honor system. I don't think we should. And that's not what it says. I mean, Anthony sent it to me.
Yeah, let's read it, because I got it right here in front of me. I've never seen anything in writing about not being able to pay for extra 9 if you decide to go on.
Are you talking about
Yeah,
page
the
7
flip side
of
of
the
that.
policies and procedures?
Yep, I got it right.
But manage that they're coming back in.
So we have to keep this in context. First of all, it's only when there's intimate weather delay coming. And if you read our, in my opinion, our rain check policy shouldn't be a rain check policy. It should say we don't give rain checks. So from a customer service standpoint, here's how I look at it. First of all, I haven't given a rain check out yet this year, because if you get 9-hole fee out of someone and they continue on and they do come back and play, and the way we track it is we highlight them, we make the ranger aware of these are the groups that are supposed to come back in and pay if they continue on. So we do have a safety net in place. We may lose 1 or 2, but it greatly outweighs giving out rain checks if you look at the economics.
But you don't have to give out a rain check. Because unless you
do
close
if they
the
buy
course,
if they buy an 18-hole ticket.
Right.
That's the only time you can get one.
Right.
Yeah, as far as my understanding, we've always been able to pay for 9 holes and then pay for 18 if we change our mind in the weather, and the weather, holds up. And I think it's worked well. I haven't heard any complaints about that at all. I mean, I think that's great customer service.
When did you pay for your extra 9?
When you come back in, or the next day, or whatever. At the turn, if you're going to go on. I mean, there's different ways to do it.
So if you play 18, what time are you done?
Well, I tell you, fortunately, over the years, I've played very early in the morning. So if that situation has happened, the course has been open, and I've been able to go back and pay. Luckily, again, it hasn't happened that many times.
My point was, I don't, whatever the rules are, but it needs to be consistent and fair. And Jim Alexander never did that, but maybe that was just a different interpretation of the rules. The rules are, if you think it's going to rain, you pay for 9, and then when you're done with your round, you can come in and pay later, right? Bob?
There's no rules in writing.
Yeah, I think it's silent on that issue.
I know. Yeah. That's the policy that we want to put in place. We have to have a policy that we all agree to, right?
I defer to the committee on that.
My thought is, I don't think this is a major issue. I don't think there are a lot of people who are doing, to the extent that there is inclement weather, that they are then saying, I would play 18, but I'm only going to pay for 9 now, and I will come back and then pay for 9 again if I play the back.
Right.
How many rounds? Do we think
I just think it needs to be one policy. Either you're going to pay when you go to the turn, or you're going to pay when you're done. But we can't have handwritten things that, you owe me this and you don't owe me that. We have to have one standard that everyone understands.
Fine. Okay.
Right? I mean, I don't care. I agree. If there's thunderstorms, but you want to continue and say, I'm going to pay for 9, but if it's bad, I'm going to come in the turn and pay. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Right. Well, why don't we just say, I think what you're saying is, if the course is going to be closed when the back 9 is done, you got to pay at the turn. Otherwise, you come in at the end of your round.
That's what I think.
Fine.
Yes.
I think that's probably what's happening. But
that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. And it's simple. And then the Rangers know, then they can manage it because they're still out. But they're not going to be, I know for the morning players, but for the afternoon players, it's 6:30, there's not a lot of Rangers out anymore.
Right.
Bob, do you think that's manageable from the pro shop perspective?
Absolutely. I think we've done a wonderful job with it. And whatever you guys want me to do, I will do.
Yeah. I don't think that's a big variance from what we're doing right now. So I think that's a good idea.
It's just a matter of documenting it.
Yeah.
Right. It's just just putting it down someplace. Which is fine.
All right. So I guess, Bob, when you do that, just tell them that if the course is, if it's going to be, after some period of time, we can pick a time. If it's going to be after, I don't know, 4 o'clock or something, when they, or whenever we think that the back nine will finish after the clubhouse closes, then they got to pay at the turn for the back nine.
Sounds good.
All right. Cancellation policy. We could. This one I've been sort of thinking about too, because the cancellation policy is a little difficult now, because with Vermont Systems, it is so difficult to cancel or modify a tee time. I mean, you can do it, and I think Christine is who told us that. But it's like 98 clicks on your mouse to be able to do that. It is not an easy process. And under 4UP, you'll be able to modify, reschedule, or just terminate a tee time. And so I'm more willing to be flexible now when it's just really hard to cancel or modify a tee time. But I think, and that's why I wanted to raise it, when we get 4UP, assuming we get it before our next meeting, I thought, let's talk about this, because I do think we need to be a little bit more firm now that there are, way more options, and the ability to cancel or modify a tee time is there. We should be more firm on the people who don't do it in a timely fashion. Our system right now says 48 hours in advance. So that's 2 full days. If you're teeing off at Saturday at 10 a.m., you got to do it by Thursday at 10 a.m. That's a little aggressive. I know Bob emailed me, and he suggested 12 hours, which is a little bit more user-friendly, and also I think protects us in terms of not losing tee times, because I think Bob will tell you, if the tee time opens up, it's gone in an hour. I would like to change the tee time cancellation policy for when 4UP begins. Bob, before we kind of have a discussion on that, is that a fair kind of summary of where things are right now?
Absolutely. The biggest issue you have now is that we can't charge non-ID holders, so the more expensive people that take signs, we have no way to charge them if they don't show.
Right.
We can charge the residents, but now we'll have everyone's credit card on file, and I think that gives us a way better position to be strong and firm. 12 hours out, no questions asked, you're getting charged every time. That's just my opinion.
I think that makes good sense, Bob. That's Mike.
This is Priscilla. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
I 100% agree. This is Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's formally vote on this so we can change the policy on our website. I will entertain a motion to change the cancellation policy from 48 hours to 12 hours upon the implementation of 4UP.
This is Priscilla. I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Just Mike,
This is Mike. I'll second it.
Okay.
All right. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions? All right. All right. Moving on. We got an email from Lucille Parkinson about the par 3 in the bathrooms. Talked about that already. We got an email about a tree dedication from Brian and Dan O'Connor. I thought it sounded great. I'll defer to Peter Grace to make sure that Peter, you're involved in the selection of the type of tree and the location of the tree. So as long as Peter's okay, I think that sounds good to me. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I agree. That's fine.
Yeah, nothing other than what you said.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm fine with the tree. I mean, there's still quite a few that need to come down, but there's always room for a nice one. to the proper place.
That's right. Good. All right. So I don't know who got Anthony. Did that email come into you, or who did that email come into?
It may have come into me.
I think the original email came to me, and then I forwarded it to Anthony.
Okay. Prue, you can send it to me if you want, and I can reply, and I'll copy Peter and Anthony on. Just let them know that the Golf Commission supports it, and they can work with Peter on finding a type of tree and a location.
Okay, I believe, I think Brian is on the call tonight, so, but yes, then I'll send it to you, and then you'll have his email address.
All right. Brian, you'll hear from me shortly. Great. Last thing we got another email. I think it might have even been over the weekend. I can't remember when we got it. So Brian Daly sent us a petition to change when tee times open up 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. 5 a.m. for residents particularly. He had a petition signed by, I think it was 75 people, to push that time to later in the day. He feels it's inconvenient and only certain people are able or will benefit from that time. I believe we talked about this. I don't think it was at our last meeting. It might have been at the meeting before. Brian had emailed us previously, and Prue had circulated that initial email as well. At that time, the Golf Commission didn't want to make any changes. So I'm curious if the petition changes anybody's view on it. I'm still in the same position I was in before, which is no time is perfect. My feeling is let's leave it at 5 a.m. Whatever time we pick, somebody's going to be upset. And therefore, it's working, right? I mean, people are able to make tee times. The course is selling the tee times. So I just don't see a big enough reason to make a change right now. So again, my thoughts are we leave it, but obviously I'm interested to hear what the rest of the commission thinks.
This is Mike. I don't have the email in front of me. I did read it, but I don't remember. Did they even come up with a requested new time? Was there a proposed time that was asked for?
Yeah, he had a couple different times. It was more just a suggestion
and midnight.
Yeah.
This is Mike Harrington.
I don't see those being better.
There's a comment in the body of this petition saying that other golf courses have different practices, and I don't know if Bob is still on or not, but I'm wondering what are the practices that are used by other municipal golf courses, not country clubs in the area.
Well, I'm still here, of course, Mike. I know Tashua, with their implementation of 4-up, they go at 5:30 now. Wheeler Park does something totally different. Yeah, 5:30 a.m.
Okay.
Wheeler Park does something different. They basically still have a rack system for their weekend time, where the guys show up on a Thursday evening and get them. But across the spectrum, there's a wide variety of times. And to Keith's point, I think no matter what time you pick, it's going to inconvenience some. And
is pushing it back a half hour to 5:30 a problem for anybody? I mean, would that just right? That's not going to get in the way of anybody's day, probably.
Mike, the only
that's what I'm wondering.
If you're playing at 6:09, you more than likely will not be able to get on and get a time at 5:30.
But with 4T is supposedly, and I kind of used this a little bit when I looked at time at Tashua. They're pretty easy to use, I think, on the phone, if I recall. So if someone is able to, have their phone with them, or, which can be done, if you're not at home, I thought maybe that might be a possibility.
Well, if you're traveling, though, if you're in the car on the way to the round, you won't be able to do it at that point.
True.
Our first tee times are at 7 a.m. in the summer. Is that
on
right?
the weekends,
during the week it's 6. Yeah, 6 and during the weekend, and on holidays.
So if you slip it to 6, instead of 5 and 9, if you made it 6 and 10 to maintain the 3-hour difference. Would that maybe address some of the issues?
Well, that's what Priscilla was just saying, that if you're playing at that time and trying to make a tee time for the following week, you're actually either driving to the golf course or on the golf course when the tee times open up.
Well, we're not playing.
What about if it's the
no,
weekend
on the
tee time at
weekend,
7 a.m.?
It is 6, Mike. It's 6 o'clock on the weekend.
Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But don't you think that switching the time an hour isn't going to change how the tee times are being taken now, right? Because from what I understand, there's a whole group of people who go out and they get all these times, and then they share them among each others. Like, Bob, is that the truth, or is that something that people are just saying?
I don't see that happening at all. There are some people that seem to have a knack with the current system. I just think they're savvy over years of using it. They know exactly what time they've figured out their computer, and the tee time system opens up is my only guess. But I don't see a lot of swapping of time, formally anyways.
Okay. So,
well, I know that when we have been to the course, I'm sorry, when we have been to the course, we've had guys actually tell us there's a bunch of them that go on, and they will give the extra tee times to friends if they don't need them. So they're not being returned.
Just to play devil's advocate to this for a second, the people we're trying to protect here are the 6 a.m. players, really. If you think about it, like Priscilla, to your point, you're kind of concerned about the people on the way to the course for the 6 a.m. times. But what about all the people that are playing at 7 a.m. or 7:30 or 8, and they don't want to have to wake up at 5 a.m. to play at those still coveted times? So by making it 5:30, you're appeasing some people, give them an extra half hour of sleep, and okay, maybe the 6:09 player doesn't benefit from this, but everybody else might. So just throwing that out there, something to think about.
I think one of the suggestions of time he had was midnight.
Yes, that's in the body of the petition.
Yeah, they could do it at midnight, and that way everyone has to wake up, except for the very young. We could pay them for us.
That just sounds awful to me. So if I want to play on a Friday, I got to wake up, or be up, at midnight on, Thursday night. I mean that. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Again. Yeah.
But otherwise, you have to wake up at 4:45, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely hate waking up early, and because I have to get up at 5:30 to go to work anyway. And the most frustrating thing, I agree, is when now all 4 of us are getting up then and trying to get tee times, then coming away empty-handed. That's the worst feeling in the world. But I don't know. People are getting up. People are making tee times. The course is probably packed with the 40 best tee times by 5:05. Am I right, Bob?
5:01.
5:01, Prue.
5:01. Okay, I gave him extra 4 minutes. Yeah. So
more like 5. It's 5 and 15 seconds.
Yeah.
if you watch it, it's under a minute for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think if you move the time, it's only going to increase the number of people going for
that are
time,
trying.
in my opinion. But
Keith, to your point, you're right. No one's going to be you can't please everybody. But if they all want to, if the 75 people that signed that want to all come up with a consensus time to say we want it for this time, then maybe they should do that, and then we can consider their offer and change it.
Yeah, but yes, obviously that would be
right.
But how many thousands of golfers do we have, right? And so, my feeling is, again, to what we've all just said, we're just kind of changing it to change it, and because it's working. Trust me, I think we all feel the same way about it. It's I know Sterling does it. It's not a unique tee time system, and so yes, if the commission felt strongly about it, I'm on board with whatever. I just think, it seems like we're just making a change to make a change, or in hopes that it's better without actually knowing. So I don't know. I'll defer to you guys and what you want to do.
Yeah, Keith, I agree with you. Like, I agree that it's not great now, but I don't think changing it we're going to have other problems. So I wouldn't change that. Reason to change it.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Is anybody interested in switching the time around?
This is Peter. I'm not in favor of that. Just for the reasons you suggested. It's working. I know it's not working maybe the best for some people, but, to change for the sake of a change, I don't know, doesn't seem compelling to me.
I mean, I'll switch it to a time where you can guarantee me that I'm going to get a time in the morning. So whatever time you can guarantee that, then I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think everybody would take that one. We'll take that deal.
Yeah, exactly. But unless we have that, then I'm good with just keeping it the way it is.
All right. All right. Well, that's the last thing I had. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. This was a good meeting. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you out in the course soon. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Keith. Yep. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Harrington seconds.
All right. Everybody in favor?
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.